The morning sun cast long shadows through the temple windows as Master Nisho approached his teacher with troubled eyes. "I have followed your guidance precisely," he began, "yet hardships continue to deluge my life like winter rain." His words echoed a common struggle faced by practitioners throughout time: the challenge of maintaining faith when reality seems to contradict our deepest spiritual beliefs. This universal challenge touches the heart of Buddhist practice. As the Lotus Sutra itself states, this teaching is difficult to believe and difficult to understand. Many hear these profound words and initially accept them with enthusiasm, their hearts burning bright with newfound purpose. Yet as days turn to months and trials multiply like autumn leaves, that same faith often dims like an untended flame. The wise understand that this difficulty is not a flaw in the practice, but rather its very essence. When Shakyamuni Buddha first revealed the Lotus Sutra, he knew the path would not be easy. To accept is easy, to continue is difficult, he taught. But Buddhahood lies in continuing faith. This truth has been demonstrated countless times through history, as practitioners face what seems like an endless stream of obstacles. Consider the metaphor Nichiren Daishonin shared. A fire burns higher when logs are added, and a strong wind makes the gura swell. Just as fire grows stronger when challenged by new fuel, our faith develops deeper roots when tested by adversity. The persecution and hardships that practitioners face are not signs of failure, but opportunities for growth, much like the wind that strengthens a tree's roots by forcing it to bend. This understanding transforms our perspective on difficulties. Rather than seeing obstacles as punishment or evidence that our practice isn't working, we can recognize them as natural steps on the path to enlightenment. The Lotus Sutra teaches that those who embrace its teachings will quickly obtain the supreme enlightenment, but this promise comes with an important caveat: practitioners should be prepared to meet difficulties. To sustain faith means to hold fast to Nam Myoho Renge Kyo through all circumstances. This practice, which all Buddhas throughout past, present, and future use to attain enlightenment, becomes our anchor in storms of doubt. As the great teacher Tiante observed, one accepts out of the power of faith and continues because of the power of prayer. These two forces, initial faith and sustained practice, work together like the two wings of a bird, both essential for spiritual flight. The challenge of maintaining faith often intensifies as our practice deepens. Like the long-lived pine tree whose boughs become increasingly bent and twisted with age, the votary of the Lotus Sutra may face greater obstacles as their practice matures. Yet these very obstacles serve as proof of progress. As Nichiren taught, the votary of the Lotus Sutra is like a fire that grows stronger when challenged, not weaker. This truth becomes particularly relevant in times of personal crisis. When illness strikes, relationships fracture, or financial security crumbles, our initial impulse might be to question our faith. Why isn't my practice protecting me from these difficulties? We might ask, echoing the doubts expressed to Nichiren centuries ago. The answer lies in understanding that protection doesn't mean absence of challenges, but rather the strength to overcome them. The Lotus Sutra acknowledges this reality when it states, "It is difficult to sustain faith in this sutra. One who embraces it even for a short time will delight me and all other Buddhas." This passage reveals a profound truth: the very act of maintaining faith through difficulties is itself a source of enlightenment. Each moment we choose to continue practicing despite doubts and challenges brings joy to the Buddhas because it demonstrates the transformative power of the mystic law. Consider the example of Nichiren himself, who faced exile, attempted execution, and countless other persecutions. Rather than seeing these as obstacles to his faith, he recognized them as confirmations of the Lotus Sutra's power. Just as a mighty wind reveals the strength of a deeply rooted tree, persecution and hardship reveal the depth of one's faith. The key to sustaining faith lies in shifting our perspective from expecting immediate results to appreciating the process of growth. The Lotus Sutra teaches that enlightenment is our natural state, but accessing it requires patient cultivation. Like a farmer who understands that a seed's slow growth underground is as important as its eventual emergence, we must trust in the unseen workings of our practice. This understanding helps us navigate the 3 obstacles and 4 devils described in ancient texts. These challenges, which include both external persecution and internal doubts, are not random misfortunes but predictable stages on the path to enlightenment. By recognizing them as such, we can maintain our determination even when progress seems slow or backwards. The practice of sustaining faith also strengthens our connection to the eternal nature of Buddhism. The Lotus Sutra speaks of the true aspect of all phenomena, revealing that both difficulties and triumphs are temporary manifestations of the underlying mystic law. By maintaining faith through all circumstances, we align ourselves with this fundamental truth rather than being swayed by temporary conditions. As we continue our practice, we begin to understand why the sutra emphasizes that this teaching is difficult to believe and difficult to understand. The difficulty lies not in the complexity of the concepts, but in the challenge of maintaining faith when our immediate experience seems to contradict our beliefs. Yet it is precisely this challenge that makes the practice transformative. The votary of the Lotus Sutra is compared to the Buddha of eternal life, and like all living things, growth involves some pain. Just as the pine tree's branches may break under heavy snow yet continue to reach toward the sky, our faith may be tested but ultimately grows stronger through adversity. From now on, Nichiren advised, you should always remember the words, "It is difficult to sustain faith in this sutra." This remembrance itself becomes a source of strength. The difficulty of sustaining faith is not a barrier to practice but its very essence. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to deepen our understanding and strengthen our determination. As we continue to embrace the mystic law through all circumstances, we transform difficulties into proof of our progress on the path to enlightenment. The very act of maintaining faith through obstacles becomes the practice itself, leading us inevitably toward the supreme enlightenment promised by the Lotus Sutra.